Today we're going to be taking a look at the BigTreeTech SKR Mini E3 boards that are a direct 32-bit replacement for your Ender 3. I am currently working on a lot of content surrounding the Ender 3, including a series of videos where I try to walk you through step by step what a new user's experience might be when they get their Ender 3. But we're getting to the part in that series where we might want to start looking at swapping out a few parts, including the mainboard. And a couple of months ago, I did swap out the mainboard on my original Ender 3 right here with the Creality Silent mainboard. And there's nothing wrong with that board. It does have 2208 drivers, but there's a lot of great options for direct swap out replacement boards on the Ender 3 now. So I thought it would be worth a video to take a look at the SKR Mini boards. There are two different versions. They're direct swap out Ender 3 replacements, and just see how easy it would be to swap that board out and get up and printing. So as usual, let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's just start with taking a look at these two boards side by side and seeing what a few of the differences are. So here we have our SKR Mini E3 version 1.2 board, and over on this side we have the SKR E3 DIP version 1.0 board. Now the first thing you're going to notice, the DIP version lets you bring your own drivers. So you do have to buy the board and a set of drivers, but that way you can select whatever mode you'd like, SPI, UART, bring your own drivers, and use them how you wish. On the Mini E3 version 1.2, they come with integrated 2209 drivers. And you do still get reference pins for those drivers. If you'd like to connect up to them, you can get diag data, vref, things like that if you want to get real creative. Both these boards do use an STM32 ARM processor, but the DIP version currently has an RET6, where the 1.2 has an RCT6. And I don't know all the stats on these boards, but from what I understand, the version 1 of this board used to use the RE version of the processor, but on the 1.2 they went down to the RCT6. And again, I'm not sure what the limits are, but I'm pretty sure the RE version has a little bit more memory than the RC version. Probably not going to matter a whole lot, just something to note. On the next iteration of the DIP board, we might get that same RC processor. We have a TFT connector, so you can hook up to your touch screens. They are in a little different locations on these two boards. We have both probe and servo ports, same on both boards. That's, for instance, if you wanted to use a BL Touch, you could use the servo to actuate it. On the 1.2 board, you do have this jumper over here that says spread underneath it. But from what I understand, you can control all the modes on these drivers through software. So I'm not exactly sure what that jumper is going to get you, but I'm just going to leave it in the stock position for now. Maybe it will physically override those settings, not sure. And the other big difference on these two boards, the 1.2 board has this NeoPixel port. BigTreeTech sells a module that you can plug into these pins, these over here to power it up, that has a MOSFET on it where you can control the NeoPixel lights. Now you could use that module, but I'm sure that you could get into the pins file and figure out how to use those pins for whatever you wish. So those are there if you want to mess around with them. And there are a few extra pins on these boards, which is always good to see. You can configure them however you want. I'm not sure always their intended configuration. For instance, you have this E0 stop on both boards. One is 3-pin, one is 2-pin. I'm guessing that is probably for filament runout. And then the 1.2, you have this PT detect. And from reading just a little bit, I think they have a module that you can use to turn the printer off with a relay. So that might be interesting. But there's extra pins there if you want to play around with it. Both these boards are designed to use that one connector type LCD screen. On the Ender 3, it actually does have 3 connectors, but you want to use the EXP3. In the Marlin configuration, that is what they call the CR10 stock display if you want to know what to select in the firmware. Now both of these boards should work exactly the same way. For this video, I am going to be using the 1.2 board because it has integrated 2209s, and that's what I would probably use anyway. But this board should be just as easy to swap out. You just have to grab your own drivers, set up these jumpers for whatever driver you want to use, and you should be good to go. The only thing I'm going to do before we install the board is add these nifty blue heat sinks that BigTreeTech includes with the board to the tops of the 2209 drivers. You can just use the tape to stick them down onto the driver right like this. Just make sure you don't touch any of the components with the heatsink around it. All 4 heat sinks are on the drivers. That should dissipate the heat on the drivers. Also, it makes the board look a lot cooler. Just like racing stripes on a sports car, I'm sure that it makes it go faster. And before we swap out our Creality Silent board with our SKR Mini board, here's a view of it running and what kind of noise level it's achieving. If you listen to the audio, it's pretty much all fan noise. The part fan is on. You can't really hear the motors operating at all. So here we go. If you remember last time when we swapped out a board, I almost never have screws in the top of this control box, but there are 3. There's 2 in front and 1 here in the back. You'll have to take those off, take the top of your control box off. There's your main board. And just to make it easier, you can unplug that control box fan. It goes right there. We'll just set this aside for now. Now, last video, I showed you that a lot of these wires are just tinned on the ends and put in these terminals. You don't want to leave that there if you're going to replace the board anyway. Go ahead and crimp on some ferrules. That makes a lot nicer install and is quite a bit safer to use. I replaced the ones for the power input, the hot end, the bed, and the fan. So I'm just going to unplug all these cables and then we'll walk through step by step, putting it all back together with our new board. All the wires are loose. These do have 4 mounting screws, one here kind of in the center, one over here by the motors, and one up by the SD card. These are 2mm hex. We'll go ahead and remove those. And after the screws are loose, we can just lift the whole board out. And just to show you the Creality Silent board versus the SKR Mini board, they're basically the same layout, but the SKR does have a lot more pins available. But the USB, SD card location, LCD plug, all of that is going to be the same, so it should mount right up. Also, it's quite a bit cheaper than the Creality board. So before I go ahead and mount our SKR board, I'm going to go ahead and attach the power in leads just because I think they're easier to get to before you put the board in. So they just go right here. Those wire locations for the power in should be exactly the same as the Creality board. Your ground is on the outside, your input voltage is on the inside. Now we can go ahead and mount it up with the screws. The board is in, all 4 screws are on. I'm going to go ahead and start with the motor side over here and get those wires put on. As always, the Creality boards are usually labeled pretty well, so here's our X motor cable. That'll go right up here on the top slot. Then you have your Y connection right below that, right there. Your Z connection below that, like so. And then your extruder connection down here in the corner. And these ribbon cable connections also contain some of your in-stop connections, so we'll go ahead and connect those up. Your X in-stop goes right here. Next to that will be your Y in-stop. And then while we're on the in-stops, let's go ahead and put our Z on right here. Your heat bed thermistor will be right next to that. And the hot end thermistor will go right down here in the corner. My thermistor has a DuPont connector on it. It does work, but I should switch it over to a JST. But I'll just put it back in there on the pins for now. It will work in a pinch, or you can remove that plastic cover to get it to seat a little bit better. Do be careful over here in the corner though, because there is no support underneath the board in this corner. So don't push on it too hard. We might want to print something to actually brace that up a bit. Now let's move on to these terminals up here. One thing to note, your input voltage wires are going to look really similar to your heat bed wires. They are just a little bit thicker gauge, but I recommend you just confirm to make sure you have the right ones so you don't have to go back and do it all over. Go around to the back of the printer. Whichever one has the XT60 connector on it, just kind of pull that through and confirm it's the DC in wires. Then you'll know the other 2 are your bed wires. So this middle set of terminals right here are your heat bed wires. This is the positive, this is the negative. Heat bed, it really shouldn't matter, but we're going to go ahead and wire it that way anyway. Heat bed wires are on, and as always with these terminals, you want to make sure that they're all nice and snug, but especially pay attention to the power in and the heat bed. You want to make sure you have as good a contact as you possibly can on those wires. Down here on this lower terminal, we have our hot end heater. It is a non-polarized connection, so you can plug it in wherever you'd like. It doesn't matter which wire goes where. Hot end wires are on, and then the connector right next to it, that is labeled fan 0, but that's where we're going to put our part fan. On the Creality machines, it's a yellow and blue wire, so it'll go right there. And then we'll put our hot end fan, the one that turns all the time, back here on this terminal, the first terminal in line. This one is the positive side, this one is the negative side. Hot end fan is connected right there, and last but not least, we'll plug in our LCD cable. It goes in this connector in front, right here. And the fan that's on top of our control box to help cool our main board, I'm going to put that in the fan 1 connection right here. I believe those are both, the part fan and the fan 1 are going to be controlled with the same command, but we'll find out shortly. So I'll plug that in right here. And we can go ahead and put the lid back on. The board's installed, everything's ready to go. Let's go ahead and boot up. The screen does say Marlin Bug Fix 2.0, so it's an older version, but that's okay. Also, the part fan did come on for a second, but then it shut off, so I know that's good. The hot end fan is spinning, but so is the driver cooling fan. So it's not linked to the part fan like it used to be on the old Creality board. It's an always on fan. So that's good to see. You'll get maximum cooling that way. So with this replacement, the biggest thing I want to know, I want it to be exactly like I left my Ender 3. Nothing has changed. I don't have to do anything else. It's going to work just as is. So I'm going to go ahead and start the same print that I did on the other board. I'm just going to take out the SKR SD card, the one you used to load the firmware, the really small one. Put my old one that I was using back in, so I can use the same G code. I'm going to go to Initialize Media, Print from Media. I'm going to start that same exact file as soon as I load some filament. And we're off and printing. Everything seems to be exactly the same as it was. Maybe the acceleration and the feed rate is a little bit slower, but everything's looking pretty good. We'll wait till the part fan comes on and let's take a quick sound reading. The sound reading is almost exactly the same as it was before. Again, the motors aren't really making any noise. The stepper drivers are doing their job. It's all fan noise at this point. And we're not going to go through the whole Marlin config in this video because this is more about getting a direct replacement board that's easy to put in. But you know we have to at least look in EEPROM and see what they have configured. So I'm cabled up USB. Let's go ahead and jump into Pronterface and get connected up. I'm guessing this board is probably connecting at a 250,000. So let's hit connect. We were correct. Let's do an M503 and take a look. So it looks like the steps, the feed rates, the acceleration, that's all the same. That's pretty much what you get on the stock Ender 3. Same way with retract and detract acceleration. And this one from the EEPROM, it looks like it's using classic jerk values because the X and Y parameters are there. If you had junction deviation, you'd usually see a J. But sometimes that can be deceiving. I'm not exactly sure what's in their firmware, but right now it looks like classic jerk is enabled. We have the M906 commands available here for stepper driver current, so you can set those on the fly. And we have our M569 commands. That's what controls what mode your driver's running in. S1 is going to be stealth chop, so we have stealth chop for all X, Y, Z, and E drivers. One thing you note that is missing in here is M900, so linear advance is not enabled by default. And there it is, our BigTreeTech SKR Mini version 1.2 board install is now complete. And I have to say, that board install was pretty easy. It was a direct swap out, I didn't have to change anything. Now, is this board going to be better than the Silent Creality board or the stock Creality board? Well, I can't tell you that. I can tell you that it's just as quiet as the Creality Silent board, and it's just a little bit more affordable. It's also 32-bit. And we didn't make a lot of progress in this video. I didn't show you a lot of prints from the new board, because we have to kind of walk through this step by step. I don't know if I can recommend this board for your Ender 3 if I haven't tested it yet. So a lot more Ender 3 content to come. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. If not, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.